I am here.
Who is
Thane.
I am? Hi, Thane.
Thane. Yes.
So, since our last visit, what have you been doing?
Same as I always do.
Which is?
Learning, experiencing, instructing, all that good stuff.
Okay. I do have a lot of questions today.
Well, then, let's get started.
What I usually do is, as I edit videos, I've just started this officially this last time I was editing it. I'm editing a video from a week ago.
Okay.
Questions come up.
Okay.
I get the rest of the questions I didn't ask, so that seems to be working very well.
Alrighty.
The other day I was watching something about dinosaurs on YouTube, basically related to their size and our size. And a question came into my head.
Shoot.
Were any bipedals of the human nature alive when dinosaurs were living on this planet?
Not Homo sapiens sapiens.
Yes, I know. I said bipedal.
Okay. There were some upright apes. Not even Neanderthals yet.
No?
No.
How did they survive? Just
They hid underground.
Keep away from dinosaurs, huh?
Well, they were used to doing that, so when things got a little weird, they skedaddled, and about half of them survived, I think.
Yeah. So whenever the dinosaurs went extinct, did they go extinct too, or did they stick around?
Well, that's what I meant by there were some who survived.
Okay, that's good.
It was rough for quite a while.
Yeah, it was a super nuclear winter.
Yeah, but they weren't that unfamiliar with having to scavenge under ice and snow and that sort of thing.
Okay.
And some smaller animals came out and they were able to, capture and eat those. And so, yeah, they managed.
Did they have fire?
When did they have fire? They had fire. They knew what it was, put it that way. They weren't sure how to get it started, but there were still some fires left after the impact.
Right.
And they just kind of gravitated toward what they could. And I think it was at that point where some of them realized that they could carry some of that to a nearby location and utilize it.
Okay. There was another question I had, and I don't remember what it was now related to that.
You didn't write it down?
No, it came to me while you were talking.
Oh.
Anyhow, it'll come to me when I'm reviewing this one.
Right.
Why have I returned to a 3D world 6 times? What is my attraction for a 3D world?
Your attraction for it is that you can get your hands on things, construct things, build things, make things, try to make things.
So that is more important than me staying in the nether. Yeah, where you stay.
As you know,
at your home.
There is no time, and so you just would choose to come back that many times because you enjoyed it.
Okay, that I can understand. I don't know what this question means.
Is that going to record?
Nope.
Okay, good. Yeah, okay. I see what you did. Okay, maybe I can do it. Tweak.
Yep.
Yay! All right.
In the future, when you go to do that, be quiet for a few moments, then reach and do it, then come back and be quiet for a few moments. That way I have some place to cut it.
You keep reminding me of that, but I forget.
Yes, that's
so
okay.
Sorry.
Sarah forgets quite often. I have no idea what this one means, so maybe you can figure it out for me. Since there is no time, does that mean a 3D world does not advance on a time scale, even though they have time? I have no idea what that means.
Me either.
Okay, that we won't worry about.
Yeah.
I'll get to what it really means later. Sara has a few questions. Why can't I go deeper when meditating?
Impatience, primarily. Needs to meditate more frequently in order to learn better how to get rid of, let go of the impatience, the antsiness to have to get up and do stuff.
So she ought to make that an intention of her meditations?
Yes, most definitely.
How do we meditate on or about specific things? For instance, someone's health, or raising the world's vibrations, or letting go of ego, etc.
Well, before you meditate, get the, how can I say this? Say a little prayer of protection from lower frequencies. State your intention, whatever that may be.
Do we include that statement of intention in the prayer?
You can. You
So
don't
it makes
have
no
to.
difference if you do it before or after the prayer.
Right. I would suggest after would sink it into your brain more directly, so you're more apt to succeed in that intention. She is what is known as a conscious channeler. She's aware during the channel.
Yeah. Okay. This is also from Sara.
Okay.
Why don't I have tics like other channelers I've seen on YouTube?
Because the energy for me, my energy to speak through her is not so drastic, for one thing. And for another is I am non-corporeal. What happens with some of those who have tics, as you call them? They are channeling usually extraterrestrials, whether they're, well, no matter what dimension they're in. But it takes more energy. It's more necessary to utilize something like that to assist with the energies melding. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
The next question for Sara. Do I label myself as an intuitive, a psychic, or a what?
I like the what part.
I thought you would. I added the letter A to that.
A what? Well, she's a what?
She didn't like it when I read it to her earlier.
Too bad. Definitely intuitive, with all that entails, which includes the what. she has the ability to become psychic. Depends on what you call a psychic.
What is your definition of a psychic?
I suggest you both look up both definitions of intuitive and psychic, and then you'll find out what the what is.
Sounds good.
Next.
When we incarnate into another 3D world, do we take our ego with us? In other words, the next go around, why have the same ego as I now have?
No. Each new physical 3D body existence, physical existence, has its own ego, its own personality, which I think comes first, then the ego, to support that personality and to support the existence in that 3D world. The ego has a lot to do with what do you call them? Splinters, with the various splinters, which you are if and when you choose to exist in a 3D world, in a physical body, and then it's brand new ego. Am I missing something? Am I leaving anything out?
I don't know.
Okay. Nope, not leaving anything out.
So, if a splinter, if an entity has two splinters, more than two, but two of them are on the same planet at the same planet time, will they have the same ego?
No.
Okay.
Because if there's two splinters in a physical existence at the same time, on the same world, they won't even come in contact. Or even if they do, they are separate personalities with separate egos.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
On a previous visit, you attempted to explain the sprite lights, etc., that Sara has when she closes her eyes. You stated you did not have any idea, and we asked for you to check with the higher-ups to see if you could learn any information. Have you done that?
Yeah. And it is primarily a physical manifestation. The eyeballs are trying to see through the eyelids, I guess you'd say. But some people experience that more than others. And they can be utilized then to help with meditation as a focus point. Perhaps even a portal, quote unquote, to assist the entity, the being.
You mean the 3D being?
The 3D being, to continue traveling. That would help with, traveling through that focal point. And that would help with deeper meditations and things. But it takes practice. That's a bad word. A nasty word. Nobody likes to practice, but it helps.
You mentioned in a previous session that not all 3D beings have DNA. How can they be a 3D being without DNA?
Because they have something else.
For example, what?
I should have known you were going to ask that. It's not DNA as on your world and in this universe as you co-created have that same double helix strand with genes. There are, and not blue genes either, there are other forms of genetic material that can do the same thing. They're just not I can't recall what it stands for. Not DNA, not RNA. It's just different. Is that okay?
Yeah, I had another question that came in my head and went out my head.
It'll come back
I
if
was
it's...
trying very hard to hold it, but it just went away.
Yeah.
Have Sara and I been a couple in any of our past lives? You know what I mean.
Yes, I know what you mean. Other existences.
Yes.
And no, you've been family or friends, but not a husband-wife couple or even a male-female couple without formality.
So we upped the ante this time around.
If you could call it that, I suppose.
Because it did seem like to both Sara and I that we knew each other from some other time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good to know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
In another session, you mentioned that Earth is a training ground for entities. Are there any other 3D worlds that are training grounds?
Well, yeah.
Is that the purpose of 3D worlds? Just to be training grounds?
Not training grounds alone, but they can be utilized that way because of the experiences they have and what they do with those experiences. And they can be, if they're open enough, if they're open, their guides, their higher selves, angels will assist. So in that regard, they can be training grounds.
Okay. Can you guys pop into any time on any world? And how do you know what time it is on that world?
Kind of answered this before.
I know, but not exactly this question.
True. Pop into other worlds. It depends a lot on who is open and why and what they're attempting to learn. And so beings who so desire to assist in their learning and their growth and their experiences will pop in, as you say. What was the rest of the question?
How do you know what time it is on that
Oh,
world?
Again, it's because when a 3D being is open, their energies are different, and the ethereal being, shall we say, the spirit being,
Bearing. I love it.
I blame it on you, will recognize the energies as being open and begin the process, if there is a process. Sometimes people are open enough that it just happens without any problem, but other times they have to kind of get to know that they're open. They need to get to know what it feels like to have someone pop in. So, yes and no.
Okay.
We don't need to know what time it is on any planet or world or dimension or populace, because it's the energies that are recognized and moved in on, so to speak.